Hello everyone, thanks for joining me again today for another video on the channel. You're joining me on board Percy and we're just steaming towards Gorliston. It's very fitting for today's episode because what we want to try and achieve in this episode is completing the main line on this western side of the river. So, as you know, we're already heading down from Haslingden to Faversham, Shirebrook and round into Gorliston. And we left the end of the station open here to carry on the route. So in today's episode what I want to do is get connected up to Bridlington and then Colne and Stopfold, so we have the whole main line on this western bank sorted out. So we already have the station ready at Gorliston, but what I do need to do is to make some changes to this original route and the original station here to make it fit with the main line that we want. So we're going to start off by pausing, and I'm actually going to completely delete out this station. And I'm going to delete back the route. You can see where we actually painted in the ballast here. So we'll get in there and remove that. And we just want some light green grass. Hopefully that will cover it for now. Or it actually won't. I always struggle, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm trying to find the grass tool, I always struggle to find exactly the one that I'm after here. That's not going to be correct. It's not. Grass cutted, that's wrong. Well, there we go. Hopefully that will grow back. That'll grow back through it when we do it. I'll just put the grass up to there, and then we'll get a station in. So what are we going to need? We are going to need a passenger station. I don't want catenaries yet. Now we need the main tracks going through. We'll future-proof this in terms of the eventual main line is going to be 4-track. And I actually want the extras for the Bridlington line coming in, don't I? So we're actually going to go for 5 lines. We're going to connect back in there like so. There we go. And I want to make sure that this original route is in without any issues at all. And it can continue making us the money. Maybe we don't need to pull out quite that soon. There we go. And I think I've just accidentally put catenary on that first bit, have I? I have, so we'll just go back and get rid of that. Definitely don't want catenary on this route. There we go, and that looks like it may have been a different kind of track, so I am just going to upgrade that all the way up. But yeah, in this episode, guys, we've got quite a few changes to make. I not only want to make the main line complete, but I also want to upgrade the trains that we've already got on there, as they are one of the slowest that we have at the minute. And obviously, that doesn't do anything for us. So hopefully that line can now work out again. We can hit play and let things run because we're not interrupting that. And then we need to get this track in. So we want the bullhead tracks. I'm going to delete this little connection to get it out of the way. We want to pull out. At the minute we're using these 2 platforms. I will have to come back later on and change this to the 4 platform construction for the main line. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a bigger job, that one. So hopefully it'll parallel us up there. It has done. Perfect. I do want to kind of head towards the river and head along it. I'm going to leave a little bit of room to the right hand side just in case when we pull this 4th track around, the 4-track system round eventually, maybe we'll need another line on the outside. Who knows? But as long as we're staying up at full speed here, I'm happy with doing this in fairly big chunks while it's quite flat along the coast here. Don't mind doing this. We have got to cross the road here, so I'll probably delete that. Just to make sure we get that nice flush connection through there. And I'll put that road back in before I forget to do that. It's actually not like that. It was because of money that I didn't notice until the last second there. Yeah, so in between the episodes, guys, I have fast forwarded and paid back all of the loan that we had just to enable us to make these changes that we want to today. I think it's going to cost us an absolute fortune to upgrade the trains and add more to it for the distance. We are going to, at the minute we only have 2 trains on the run. Ooh, I don't really like what that's doing through there, but if I was to connect it straight up, how would that look? So for now, I want to use the 2 central lines here, I think. I think that makes more sense, and it's going to give us a tunnel through there, but that, I don't think there's any other way of us connecting that, is there? Because of how it's a really tall hill and where the station is already halfway up it. So I think we are going to have to take that. And of course it's not going to fill in the parallel track. It seems to be a bit funny, this mod. If you have a tunnel or a road connection, or sorry, a road crossing, it won't do the parallel track, and I'm not too sure why it doesn't like it, but it does not seem to work at all. Okay, so now we're approaching Colne, we need to think where we're going to place this station. And I'm thinking, because the the residential side of the town looks to be here, I think we're going to look at this side of the tracks. Now, for those of you that have been keeping up with the channel, by the way, guys, this is hopefully the final pre-recorded video. As some of you all know, I've been away with work for a bit of training recently, and I've had to pre-arrange or sort of pre-record these videos, which I don't normally like doing, because I normally like getting your input in between the different episodes, so that we can sort of come to a collective decision on where to move forward, and you guys can give me loads of hints and tips. So the last couple of these episodes, I won't have seen your comments, so if you have been commenting, screaming at me because I've been making an absolute mess of things, then please do bear with me, and hopefully after this one I will be back home and be able to make the adjustments that you've been recommending. I will have been able to see the comments while I've been away. I just won't have been recording any of the videos since those, so I won't be actioning any of your comments until after this. Now I think we're just going to head through this gap and get that road back in, and then we'll see the kind of angle we need to be pointing at. And this makes quite an interesting area here for this road, where we've got the two gates, but I don't like what it's doing to the track there, actually, so we'll get rid of that, because I can't imagine it have been like that before. It wasn't, though, so we'll find a nice flat spot to cross that's not going to affect us too much. How does that look? No, it is still doing it, isn't it? Okay, so we'll delete that road back then. And it's kept the track, so exactly what I was just thinking is maybe we have a bridge crossing these two. Make a little bit of a feature of it. I do need to try and bear in mind, though, that we're potentially going to a 4-track. So we'll pull that up. Oh, looks like we've got a bit of load in here. There we go. Come back. Thought we were seconds away from getting a game crash then, actually. Oh, it really doesn't like this, does it? If I was to get that straight, how would it like that? Construction not possible. But like that it would be. If we change the bridge, so I'm not a big fan of that one anyway. I do like these stone bridges. That's a little bit dark. It looks like there's going to be too many pillars in that, though, doesn't it? That's the problem. If we were to go ironworks, I'm not sure if we're ready for that yet, although that green one looks quite nice. If we could adjust the pillars on that too. But try and bring this pretty flat to cross over. That is not flat, is it? Right, okay. If I try and pull out from here, I just need it to make a bridge. There we go. If we go for that green, it's telling me that that's flat, but it absolutely is not. There we go, that's got some bigger gaps. So if I put that bridge in and then we readjust the track, I am going to redo that piece of road coming down that looks, that doesn't look great, shall we say, for now. I want to pull this through more central then, just to enable us to get another track either side. And then this road here, I'd like to redo this, just to make it look a bit more like it should be there. I do want the curve. There we go. There we go, that looks a bit more fluid. Looks a bit more realistic. And then we want to carry on heading up this hill. And this is making me think, guys, this is quite a steep hill. We are going to need some more power on this line, aren't we, I think? Nothing to do here other than head straight up, realistically. And we are, again, hitting that money cap. It's a good job I got that loan paid off, I think, before the start of this episode. Or we would have definitely been hitting some issues. Right, so that's us actually connected up to Colne already. And then we want to head down to Stockport. So I think where do we want to go? We're going to be coming down this hill, and unfortunately, I think it looks like we're going to have to head out towards the outskirts of this passenger area, but what I don't want to do is have it really too close to where these buildings are. So if we just stick this bit out and look at having a station at this area, I think that's going to be better than just sticking it on the end of one of those roads. Now this is going to be the final end of the route, isn't it? So we are only going to need... Now this is a question. At the ends of the lines, are we going to bring the express lines into the same platform? Realistically, we only need 2 tracks, don't we? And we need one... Oh, I don't know what that's doing with that platform on the side there. That's a bit strange, isn't it? I don't know why that's doing that, actually. You can see when we've got the terminus here, there we go, it sorted itself out. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go for 2. I'm going to go 240 here, I think. We're going to have to go for 2 platforms just because we want 1 platform for the express line and 1 platform for the more local line, I think. So if we stick this at the end here, and then if we get the roads back up and pull the road out across the front here to connect in, not on that angle though. If we delete that, I want it nice and straight across the front of the station here. Maybe better coming from a side view here. There we go, like that. That looks a lot better. I'll try and line that up with this road as best I can. I'm not sure why it keeps glitching out and putting that station canopy up, actually, guys. I don't know what that's doing. Let me know if you've seen anything like that, or is that something that I've done? Is there a reason why it's choosing to do that? Is there? So here, I'm actually going to connect this passenger road on the end here. That means that is now connected to the system. Great. And then we can carry on with these tracks. So, how steep is this hill? Ooh, that is pretty darn steep, isn't it? So I think we're going to head round and we're going to snake a little bit here. I want to try and keep the full speed as much as possible. But I do need to keep heading up the hill, and it wants to give me straight away. If I was to connect this in, what's it going to do? Because this is pretty lethal. Oh, I tell you what, we're going to pull back to after that road crossing, and we're going to hit a turn. We can keep it at 75, that'd be great. And then now we're heading that way. If I tell it to connect in, it should give us some kind of S. There we go, but there is too much slope. Okay, understandable. So we're going to pull round a little bit more. Is that all the way down? It is. So it looks like we're going to have some issues here. Just trying to get round and down. We are on maximum downhill mode here. This is making me think whether it'd be better to end the main line up at Colne, just have one sort of electric, sort of another kind of mountainous train down here. And I do think it's going to be better to do that, because this gradient's just going to be too steep and it's going to really slow the mainline trains down, isn't it? So let's kick this back for now, and we'll make a single line approach, I think, for now. If we get the main line to stop up here, and then we can have a sort of a point-to-point running down, we'll keep those for future-proof, because in future we will run that there, because it just makes sense. And now I want to run another line out. Don't want to parallel track this, but I do want straight road out. We'll bring these guys back, just so it isn't messing with the road too much as it was trying to. We want to go dead straight. It's kept the road connection nice and straight. We only want the one track going through there, I think. There we go. That works. And now if we were to just go straight down the hill from here, I wonder if this will let us connect into the station without it being too ridiculous, really, I think is the word I'm looking for. I don't want something that looks absolutely mental. We may have to change where that station is. If I was to go there, it's instantly too much slope. Again, makes a lot of sense. So how are we going to attack this? I think if we head straight to the right here, or we delete back as close to the road as we can, we go straight right, heading downhill. Already wanting a crossing there. What does that do to the road? It ruins it. Okay, so we'll delete this section of road whilst we pile this track through. We are still on full downhill there, and we want the country road again to connect that back up. We don't want to connect like that, so maybe we tunnel under that section. I don't want it to be crazily aggressive like that though, that's the problem. There we go, that's more of a slight gradient for the road traffic going up. It's a bit more realistic, I think. Now if we pull this guy around, still at 75. It's looking to start a bridge there. I don't want that. It looks like we're going to have to tunnel through this section though. We don't want to link up to the road, but I do want to come out of the hillside about here. Yeah, this, you can see now guys why this couldn't have been part of the main line. I didn't realise at the start when my first idea was to connect this one, and I didn't realise how steep this was. We'll come out of here, we need to delete some more roads to make sure that rail comes through correctly. What do we want to do? I don't mind a really slow turn in, because we'd be hitting the brakes for the station anyway about here, wouldn't we? If we can snake that up nicely. I don't like that 55 so soon there. If we can have the 55 at the other end near the station, then I can work with that. Down to 58.45. I tell you what, I don't think we're going to get much better than that, are we? So we'll take that. And then the road here, I'm wondering whether we actually just rejig this and connect in this end of town instead. If we bring the road down until it's nice and flat in the valley as well, we can connect that in, and we go for another single gate here. There we go. So that connects us in there. We have the bus route. So whilst we're here, I'll get the bus connection set up here as well. So it's now going to a small country stop. So we'll go with these rural stops around the town. I think if we go for one in the commercial area here, one here hits the industrial and the central actually, but we will just pick one up here because it looks like, I'll tell you what, we'll come around the top of town here because it does look like the residential area is going to get bigger. And then of course, as we found out in the last episode, we do want the route to go around both ways. So we want both clockwise and counterclockwise. Then we're going to need a road depot. I'll put that over by the industrial area out of the way. I'm not sure how right it is, but I did see a comment somewhere on another video saying that these give off, what's the word I'm looking for? Emissions. The road depots, not emissions necessarily, but people don't like them being in the residential areas. It can affect the town's growth apparently, so I want to steer clear of that. So this is going to be RP, and we're in stop fold. And the one I've just put in is counterclockwise. And we were going with bus first. I've just noticed that Amersham one still hasn't been renamed, so we'll get a look at that. And then these next two buses, we want the same thing but in the opposite direction. We'll just put that as a colour we can see. There we go. And this is going to be RP, and it's stop fold clockwise, but it's bus clockwise. There we go. So that sorts that out. Those two Amersham ones, while I think about it, or just rename those now, just so the naming convention's uniform all the way across. It's something that'll bug me every time I see that if I don't do that now, so there we go. And then we've got line one somewhere with nothing on it, so that's okay. So that's the buses set up here, and we are going to need a train on here. I'm not sure whether this original one we set up will make it, but now it's not connected to anything. So we need to connect that into this first line. Also, if we could get a line into here, which we can, that would be great. There we go. And that tees us up so we can connect into both routes now. But now if this is going to be the end of the main line up here, we do need a cross on the way back, don't we? So we'll leave a little space after the station, and then we'll pull that up. If we can get this at full speed, we may as well. There we go. We can signal here with auto sig. 500 meters is fine. And as we leave this station, we want a signal. That's going to auto signal us all the way up here. I do want to put one on just before this junction here. And then we want to go back to auto signals from here all the way back. There we go. And then we're back on all the way there. We'll put this. We might as well put the signals this way for now as well. That'll put us all the way down towards Gorleston. We'll stop there before the station. That's not too much of a problem. It's not too far away from the station for the train to have got up to speed here, so that's fine. I have just noticed that this train here, if we want to get trains onto the main line here, we are going to need a crossover. Somewhere here, ideally this needs to get onto that track. Like so. It is a really slow 26 mile an hour, but it will only be for the trains as they're getting on there, so that should be fine. I may just set that to a double slip if I can. I can't do by the look of it, it's too sharp of an angle. But there you go, so that'll be the main line set up all the way up to Colne actually. And we may want to just put a little crossover here, just to allow trains from the depot to get up here. So what we are going to need is a line that comes from Stopfold all the way up here to Colne. And which track is that? Has that just gone straight into the wrong one? It has. Okay, so at Colne, platform we want to use is not platform 1, it's platform 2. There we go. Okay, and that is going to be TP for train passenger. And that is Stopfold to Colne. And then we'll get something running on that line, just so we know it's all already up there. And then what have we got that looks like it do good with the hill? Oh, we have actually got a modded electric train here. It's 4.8 million though, which might be a little bit overkill at the minute. But we do need something with a hell of a lot of torque, don't we? We do need something that'll be able to get up that hill, because it is nothing but hill all the way. So we either go for something with very high power and tractive effort in the steam world. Something sort of like the 260 here, maybe. That's what we're using on the other hillside line, isn't it? So yeah, that's 4.6 million. This guy's 4.8 with 805,000 a year running costs. Now, how much are the running costs on the 2.6? 780. So it's not actually a lot more, and it'd give us electric. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is add in at Leatherhead here, because this line's already established. If we're running pretty much to capacity, I mean, we've got 54 capacity, we've only got 24 down there, so it's not. What I was going to say is we'll make this one the electric one, because this is all the way uphill, but I think this end's actually steeper. But we don't have the electric track there at the minute. But do we want to start bringing electric trains in? It doesn't cost anymore. You know what? I'm going to do it. Actually, no, I'm not just yet. Only because to get this train there... yeah, we'll do it. But what I will need to do is add in its own depot down here. What I was about to say is the track that we've got hasn't got catenary. So we want catenary here, and we want to pull this just into the line. Anywhere into this line will do us. There we go. We do want a signal to stop it messing up the route. And then what I'm going to have to do is upgrade all of this route to have catenary. And it needs to come all the way up and then into the right platform. We can get rid of that crossover path now. We don't need that. And it will give us another depot down here for once the full extent of the main line makes it down here. So we are going to have to delete these tracks, well, at least one of them, but we want the whole station being uniform. So we need to relay the track here. If it will let me. Tracks, here we go. So we want bullhead with electric 75 miles per hour. That's what we've got at the moment. Hopefully this will now play ball again. So we've got electric track here. We've got catenary there. Catenary's all the way here. The Stopfold to Colne is now not working. Let's have a look why. Is that because Stopfold now doesn't class itself? Ah, so for some reason it hasn't classed that as working now. So if we go to Stopfold, yeah, we can't actually select a line for it to come into from here. So if I just grab this and then connect it in, is that going to accept it? It's still not going to. Okay, so we need to figure out why it's not accepting these tracks. We have the passenger platforms all connected up. For some reason it isn't connecting it. So if we just go for the base game track, is it going to connect? No. Strange, but for whatever reason here, guys, it's not allowing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this station and we're going to go for it again. We want a terminus station with 2 tracks. We want catenary. We want it at 240. And I want it to connect onto the end of there. We want to go from Colne down to here. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, so for whatever reason that didn't work, now it has. I'm still not sure why this passenger canopy keeps appearing here. Something's a little bit amiss with the game. I'm not sure what's causing that. But now we should be able to get our first electric train. So it is the London North Eastern Railways EE1. Now, I'm not sure what this is. So it says it was electrified section of the North East EE1 was built as an experiment for a passenger service but was not successful. It was kept in storage, however, until 1950, even though it was a failure. Well, let's hope it's not going to be a failure for us. So the top speed is 65 miles per hour. So we need some carriages that can do at least 65, don't we? Oh, British Pullmans. They're very expensive though, and we're not going to be using them to their utmost, are we? We have got the Great Western Railways. Top lights. So they can carry 16 people and they can do 80 miles per hour. Well, these ones can carry 8. You know what? I don't know whether we go for this. 208,000 a year. If we go for 48, we need 8 million. Oh, 9 million. You know what? When I do this, I'm going to hit pause. Simply because we'll come back and look at this, don't worry. But unable to find path, missing electric. Why are you missing electric track? The line all connects, so somewhere has no electric. And of course, it's the connection into the vehicle depot here. That is a problem because the train's in there. Can I upgrade that piece of track into the depot by doing this? I can't. Great. Okay, so I'm hoping this doesn't cost me too much money. But we are going to have to delete that depot. And we're going to have to put a new one in that says it has catenary, like so. And then hopefully now that's connected in. It is, and we can remake that train. So we had 3 of those with the LNE one. Hopefully that's going to be the end of our problems. Unable to find track again. But we're definitely connected in here now. Connected into the route here. So hopefully we can find out what it is. Is it the track this side? It is. Of course it is. So now in this station, we need to electrify this line. And of course, I've just deleted the wrong one anyway. That's me being an absolute bonehead. Now let's have a look. Now we're connected in there. That line should now be connected. We may have to do the same as what we did before here. So we need to change that in Stopfold. It was line 2, wasn't it? Stopfold. I believe. We want to be in platform number 2. There we go. So now that's connected in. That train should have no issues. It should be on the right path. Or we should be able to put it onto the right path at least. There we go. So that's gone on. But the minute that will run with absolutely nothing happening for it because we haven't got the main line connected up down to here. So what we need to do is get the main line that's currently the Gaul and Shirebrook line. We need to manage this. So at the minute, we'll go from Shirebrook down to Gorleston, and then after Gorleston, what we want to do is head through Bridlington here, and then we want to head up to Colne, and then we want to come back to Bridlington. But it picked the wrong the wrong platform then, I believe. So coming back through Bridlington, where do we want to be? If I can get this window's in the way now. At Bridlington the second time, what platform do we want? I want platform 3 this time. There we go. And then we want to head all the way back to Gorleston and make sure it's on the right track here. It is. Okay. So that is now the main line set up. And the main line runs all the way up. So we can hit play now because it'll start driving demand for the town here. And I want to see this EE1 come out. Have a look at it. I forget the top speed, 65. Good sounding horn, isn't it? LNER. I wonder whether the 13's got any resemblance there. The model's the EE1. Looks a very similar base model to the Crocodile, doesn't it? But it'd be interesting to see if this can get up to its limit up the hill. I'm going to hit fast forward here to see it. I'm going to go straight into this tunnel section. And as we wait, is it going to get anywhere near its 75 miles per hour? It does have a lot of tractive effort and a lot of power, this train, so I wouldn't be surprised if it can make it up. It might just need a little bit longer to do that. These carriages are cool. It looks like they've got some kind of, yeah, you can see them moving together, the concertina effect at the passageway there, the connection between the two carriages, that's pretty cool. But it isn't actually making up to top speed. So even with all this power, it isn't making it, which is interesting. Now, we've got the main line set up. We are going to need to expand that, but I do just want to put a passenger route in Colne. So we're going to go for buses here. Or do we go for trams in Colne? I don't think we're big enough yet, really, are we? So we'll go for... We've got the passenger station there. If we go for some Midland bus stops, and what we want to do is go up this way, I feel, because that connects to all that city. And then come through and maybe stop in the middle of here and pick all of this section up. And then come back round and down and stop down here. I do just want to upgrade those roads because they look like they would definitely not be big enough. Oh, looks like we've got an autosave or no, just a bit of game lag there. It does seem to be getting a lot worse as we're getting more and more vehicles. It's starting to concern me a little bit. I'm hoping we're not going to start getting some game crashes coming in. Because all the mods that are on it seem to make it worse. Usually with a map this size, I wouldn't have too many issues yet. I think I'm happy with the Schneider here. 22 miles an hour is no faster or slower than the Daimler. It's just a capacity increase. I think if we go here for the 4 again, as we had down the road there in Stotfold, and we'll set the 2 lines up the same. So we want to go round the clockwise route first, is what I'm going to go for. So it's RP for road passenger, and this is, I've missed out the mark there, so we want to go to Colne, bus, and it's counterclockwise. And I do want to change that colour to something that'd be more visible. There we go. And then the other 2 vehicles, we want to do the same thing, but in reverse, of course. And we want to go RP, and it's Colne. Why wouldn't it give me the capital C? There we go. It's Colne bus, and this is the clockwise route. And again, we'll change the colour. So that's the bus set up in here now. So everything is in motion that needs to be for this to all work. But what I do want to do is upgrade the amount of trains that are on this main line now, and actually upgrade the 2 trains that are already there. So we've got Henry and Percy. And if we look at managing the vehicles, let's have a look at where's Henry. So Henry's already on his way up this new route. There we go. So we'll manage the vehicle. Henry is currently Henry and Percy are currently LSWR 440s. Okay, so if we wanted to replace those, we still want to keep them green because it is Henry and Percy. So we've got the 440s at the minute, 440 T3s. Look at these guys. So the current top speed is 60 miles per hour, but the carriages are limiting them to 52. So we want something that's green with a higher top speed than 60. We've got these greyhounds for 80, wouldn't be too bad for a mainline route. What else have we got down here? 75. Great North Railroad, I believe GNR is, from across the pond. But I think 80 mile an hour if we go for the London South Western 440s. Greyhound, an extremely fast 440 built by the London South Western for express services. These were some of the nippiest 440s ever built. Now, that to me sounds like it's what we're looking for. I don't know about you guys. And that brings us to the 80 mile per hour, which fits with these new carriages as well, doesn't it, actually? We're currently carrying 50, so we don't want to go less than that. So if we went to 64, it'd be 11 million to replace these guys. How much have we got left in the loan? Can we afford to do this? That's the loan maxed out there at 1104. How much did we need there to replace both of these? 11.9. If I fast forward time here, we may have to wait to the next episode here for another train. I'm just conscious that while these trains are running up here for the first time, we actually might lose a little bit of money. We might not be able to do this. You can see the money's already dropped to 10.7 million. Maybe this is a bit overkill. Maybe the 80 mile per hour is not what we should be going for. Because these are 2.5 million each. The 75 ones are 3 actually, so they're actually cheaper than the 75 miles per hour ones. It's just not the time by the look of it, just because of the money situation. What I may have to do is let this play on. I'll tell you what guys, I'll put in a little bit of a cut here. I'll let it play on just until we've got enough money to make this happen. Because I do want to get this upgraded in this episode. So I'll be right back in a second. Alright guys, I'm just going to bring you back in here. I'm still waiting for the money to be able to upgrade the mainline trains, but I've been having a look at where we can sort of save money or at least make more money. And I've come across this Rochdale-Shepton train. And as you can see, that's the wrong button, that's not the one I wanted. But if we have a look at the finances on this train, you can see that it's never actually made a profit, or maybe once made a very slight one. And I think it is just the distance that it is. The running costs of this train are costing us so much. You can see here the running costs are almost 800,000, and the line itself's losing us 200, so we're actually losing £1 million a year on this train and making zero profit. So I've made the decision that we're going to leave in the infrastructure ready for later on, but I'm going to sell this train. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bus stop just as we come into, or actually we'll put an actual bus station in the town here, and I think we'll go for one of the rounded ones. And we only want this to be bus, that's absolutely fine. We only want the one terminal, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to link these two together. And down here, I'm going to see if I can add in a second terminal and go for another bus terminal if it'll allow me to. Looks like it won't do. So what I'll need to do is actually get in, unless, let me see if I can pause the game and delete this. Can I get a double terminaled one in here in the same location, still connect up to this port? I'm hoping we can. If I just move that connection to there, we are connected there, aren't we? Yes. And then we need a bit of medium street to come into there. Hopefully that just moves over. It has done, and we now have these two. We've got the two stopping there. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. But we want the other terminal now to be this new, the new route coming from across at Shepton here. So we want a new one that's coming from Shepton here and into the new line. I can't see which one it's selecting there. It's not selecting the right one, that's for certain. If we go dark blue, there we go. That's the correct one. And this is going to be our first, I believe, actually. It's going to be RP. This is going to be a Shepton, Rochdale. Oh, we want the capital R and Rochdale there, don't we? It's going to be the Shepton, Rochdale, and it's going to be the IC for Intercity. Now, all that's going to allow us to do is the passengers that can from this stop can move and walk over to this, or we maybe even swap that one out, actually. We go for this route that's already here, we manage line, so We want this to come over here. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm going to leave that just because we would need another terminal on there again now. I don't want to be getting into changing too much around. If we go for passengers, we will have the fast versions here, and we'll go for the bigger capacity just because we want to make sure that the amount of people that want to move from here to the ship is still a high enough capacity. I've just done that as a new line again, haven't I? And I didn't mean to at all. Right, bear with me, guys. So line 1, manage vehicles. We want all of those. We want them on the Shepton Intercontinental, Intercity. There we go. So I'm hoping now that small change is going to help us. Well, it's going to reduce the losses, definitely. And you can see here we're already paying back this loan. And we're up to about almost 18 million in loan here. So we're at the point now where we could probably get those new trains in. So I'm going to cut it again here and see where we're up to. And I'll join you back over the other side when we can see what we can afford. Right, guys, I'm going to bring you back in. Apologies, I thought the recording was on and it wasn't. But I have made the move and we've upgraded the trains. So we do now have the new top speed on this main line now of 80 miles per hour. And we're still carrying 64. So we just need to let this bed in now. We are actually making a loss at the minute, but I believe it's because until this line's bedded in, the passengers on this route, the first lot had already got on. They got on the train at Gorliston, or they were already on the platform. And when I changed the route then to allow them to go further up, the people had already gotten on the train. So the people that are on the train, the whole 64 people, went all the way to the end and all the way back without getting off and paying us any money. And then that meant there was no room on the trains coming back. So the route at the minute is actually losing us a bit of money. But hopefully in between episodes, as this moves on, it will bed in and the line will make us some money. I know the electric train at the end is now starting to run full. That's making us a bit of money. And what I want to do is at the start of the next episode, we'll have a look at the finances and see where we are. But it seems like the running costs are the things that are really causing us the issues at the minute. The lines themselves will make about 800 to £1 million a year. But as you can see, the running costs for this train now, this is just this one, is 1.2 million. Obviously we have 2 of these trains and we need to look at being able to afford more. We can't at the minute. The loan is almost at what it can be. I mean, we could borrow this. If I was to just have a look, we've currently got 24 million and we can only have a 30 million loan. So that means we've got 6 million of the loan left. If we wanted to get another one of these Greyhound trains, let's have a look. So we go for the Greyhound and then we've got the Mini. I believe it's 4 of these for 64 capacity it is. So we need 7.5 million. So we may just see if we can get another one. So that's that paid back. If I can hit fast forward here, if we can get this up. Oh, there you go. Just like that. I'm going to pause it while we do this. And I'm going to borrow everything we can here. And this takes us to 7.2. I don't think that was quite enough, was it? I've already forgotten. My memory is like a sieve, guys. I do apologise, but we need 7.5. Let me hit fast forward here and see if that'll come to us. I'm too afraid at the minute. I'm going to pay back that loan. The problem I've got at the minute is every time I hit play, the money's plummeting because these lines aren't making the money that we need them to. It looks like they're actually up again there now. But you can see we were losing 4.7 million. The maintenance on the vehicles here, as you can see, it's 5 million. Tickets are up at 9, so it looks like we're making about 4 million a year. But it just doesn't seem to be the case. At the end of every month, when the month rolls over and the maintenance for the vehicles get paid, we just keep getting plummeted in. So we've only actually got 7 people on this, on the EE1 at the minute. And we need to come up with another name. If anybody knows any other green trains from the Thomas the Tank, or if there's an electric train in there, let me know and we can do a naming this one. Or just if you think of a cool name in general, we don't have to stick with that theme, to be honest with you. You can see the finances now are definitely in the negative. Let's have a look at what the lines do. So we're making 3 million a year apparently on this line. We're losing 800,000 on that 800,000 a year, sorry, on that electric train. But we just need this to keep bedding in. We are getting to the point where there's passengers. So we've got 30 passengers now, and if we can run at half full, which is 25, we should be making money. So we're at the point now where that's going to start making us money. Have we got any passengers looking to go the other way? We haven't. So that's going to be the issue. There isn't going to be many people that want to head the other way. So what we need to be doing realistically is running full and we're going up bank. It looks like we're almost getting there. We've got 45 here. We get to 48 and fill this? No. But that should, thereabout, start making us... That should start breaking even. But what that is doing, of course, is that's bringing the passengers up to the end of the main line. And those passengers could, realistically, then pay the ticket to go all the way to Haslingden. I can't imagine them doing, really. It doesn't look like there's a lot down in Haslington to do. Although, saying that, Haslington's really spreading out over this hillside now. So I take that back. But down at Haslington here with 186 passengers. 294, 350 thereabouts there. Yeah, look, we do need more trains on this main line, and I think that's going to be the next priority. Along with, I think we need to get an upgrade for James. He's been chugging along from the start. He looks a bit worse for wear. You can see all the pattern and the rust developing on him now. He's cruising along at 40 miles per hour. And if we have a look at James, the original, or Thomas even, sorry, not James, that was James. If we look at Thomas, he actually looks like he's not got a lot of wear and tear on him. The condition is very bad though. These running costs of $500,000 a year. And he's making just over $1 million, so half of his costs are actually getting swallowed up by maintenance. And you can see here, guys, with this running, we are struggling for funds here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sort itself out. I'll call this episode an end here. I'll catch you in the next episode with hopefully the loan paid off and some improvements, and I might even get another train added to this main line in between, just so we're not sitting about waiting for funds. But thanks for joining me as always, guys. I will catch you in the next video.